Okay, Zoe Flowers here with another Astro Chat. I feel like these are just going to be about all my misadventures, just in not just in magic, but also just in life. All right, so we have Gateway. So, Gateway, this is a card about portals, right? So, knowing that July is definitely, this is a portal, right? Like, I don't know if you all felt it over the weekend with the eclipse. I definitely felt like even my vision changed. I was sitting out in front of my mom's house, I was looking at the moon, the fireworks were doing what fireworks do, and it seemed like something changed. Like, right before my eyes, my vision became more sharp. It was really, really interesting. And I really felt like I was going through a portal. And so this gateway here showing up on Tuesday is making me believe that even more. Sometimes cards are for confirmation, and so I'm taking this as a confirmation. So the personal story I will share with you about a portal is the time I went to New Orleans and got possessed and didn't realize it. I just feel like these are going to be my misadventures. So it might not, and I can't even say this was early in my spiritual journey. This was like 6 years ago. But I would say though it was when my spiritual journey was taking a different turn. So maybe it was about 5 years ago. Maybe it was about 5 years ago because I would say, well, I've been doing spells for a long time now. But 6 years ago was around the time that I became a member of Black Witch Chronicles, which I'll talk about in another video. Um, and so I definitely, well, yeah, I can't even say African spirituality because I started working with that in 2010. Anyway, I used to like to get possessed. Okay. So when I started getting deeper into the specific kind of spirituality that I practice now, I was going to New Orleans and I was like, ooh, I hope I get possessed. And I was telling my friends that, oh, I hope I get possessed. I'm gonna go to and I've been to New Orleans like so many. I've been going to New Orleans since I was like a kid. I love New Orleans. It's like I have friends there. At that time though, I don't think I had any people there. Yeah, I don't think I had friends there. So maybe it was like 2014. So now it's a different story. Now I got peeps. But anyway, I ramble. Gemini moon. So I had told my friends, oh, I can't wait to go to New Orleans and get possessed. Right? So, and this story is also low key a little bit about the racism in the witch community, the New Age community. I don't know if folks of color who have gone into these predominantly white spaces, the vibe you get is like not great. Like they look at you like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. At least that is what how I have been treated, even at like some yoga studios, which is the reason that I stopped going to yoga studios because of the racism and the things like that I've experienced over the years. Now I like to look for like indigenous people who teach yoga and things like that because it's just too much. Like I'm going to get my chi together. Like I'm not here for the macroaggressions. Anyway, back to getting possessed. So I went to New Orleans and I'm like, oh, where are the stores? So there are a couple of voodoo stores, of course, in the French Quarter. So I went to one. I gave it. It was cute. It was called Erzuli. It was cute, and but very. It was super commercial, obviously, right? It's in the quarter, and but it was cute. It was cute. I got some like love. I got some love powder. Probably the love powder that I put in that. Anyway, so I got some love powder and I got a couple of different things. And then I went to this other store. Now, this other store, I was like, oh my God, the people were super not friendly, as I said, like definitely looking at me like, why are you here? But whatever. I didn't care. I went anyway. So there's a part of the store where there's like all of these different shelves, and every shelf is dedicated to Loas, to Orisha, so all different, to Ifa. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever seen. It's stunning, right? So there's like a whole every voodoo, hoodoo, pantheon that you ever want to like worship, they have altares for it, right? So first I'm standing in front of the Erzuli altar, okay? Then I'm standing in front of Oshun, okay? Then I go over and I'm standing in front of the Santeria. And I mean, again, floor to ceiling, right? So one whole thing for Santeria, one whole thing for Ifa, one whole thing for Condomble, right? And so I'm standing in front of all of these different altars, and I'm just like, I have no sense. I have no sense. Don't do what I do. I have no sense. I'm standing there, and I'm like, Urzuli. I can't even remember what I said, but I said something to Urzuli, right? And because the energy, it was just so overpowering, and I was like, yes, give me the energy, right? And then I'm giving my offering, giving my money, because there's places where you can give, money on the altars. So all of a sudden, oh, and mind you, so the first part is like all altars. And then there's like a place where it's like, do not pass, right? There's like a sign, there's like a bench or whatever, like a wooden thing. It's like, do not pass, okay? Go no further. And on the other side, that's where people give readings. But it's open to the public, right? But you can't go back there. So give me the energy, give me the energy. Yes, give me the energy. Next thing and I'm alone. I'm alone in the room because again, like ain't nobody like messing with me, right? I'm alone. All of a sudden, I start to feel dizzy. I start to sweat. I start to feel like I'm going to faint, right? And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Like I'm not scared. I'm like, bring it on. But I have forgotten about my possession request. I forgot. I had said it before I left. I had said it to a friend, like, yes, I want to go to New Orleans. I want to get possessed. So the gateway card then flew away. That's what I was looking for. The card just flew away. So I feel like I'm going to faint. There's nothing to hold on to because certainly I cannot touch the altars. So, and I low key, I don't want to faint like in the store in New Orleans. I'm there for a conference. I'm there for work. So it was like after the conference, I'm like there for a domestic violence conference. This is my life. And then after the domestic violence conference, I'm going to go get possessed. Or no, I don't even think I was there for a conference. I was there to present. Great. 2 flies having sex just landed on top of my computer. I can't. I'm literally done. Right. So I do my work, right, at the conference, blah, 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 and then here I go to the French Quarter. So I'm faint. I'm sweating. I'm going through the gateway. What is the lesson of this astro chat? Number 1, be careful about possession. Like, I don't do that stuff anymore, right? Be aware of portals and gateways. Protect yourself, right? That's one of the morals of the story. So, awareness is critical. So, I have that little thing, and then it goes away. So then I'm like, all right. And I really don't remember like what happened afterwards. Like I know I bought some stuff from them, or maybe I did. I don't remember. All I know is I was back in Brooklyn. It was a Saturday. It was about a week or 2 later, and I was meditating on my bed, And all of a sudden, this thing like came over me and left my body. And I was like, oh my God, I have been walking around possessed for 2 weeks. Like, literally, I do not remember walking back to my hotel. Um, yeah, as I don't, I, re- what I remember is laying on my bed, meditating, something leaving my body, and then me realizing I've been possessed for 2 weeks. So of course I called one of my homegirls. I was like, "Girl, let me tell you what happened." And she's one of my students. She's like my student because I actually have students. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that does all these things so that I can share not just my misadventures, but also, I don't know. I spent so much time. But I'll talk about that in another video. Coming in and out of the spiritual closet. I'll talk about that in another video. But that I just wanted to dive in. I just wanted to dive in, and I just wanted to feel it. And I would love to know if you all can relate. Maybe not to being possessed, but to wanting to go through these gateways to experience the world of mystery. What has your experience been? What silly things have you done on this spiritual journey? I would love to hear them. So please let me know. Okay, so the other thing, because I want to get back to the possession. So once that energy left, whatever it was, and it wasn't a bad energy. I just feel like it was the energy of Razuli. Because she was the one. It was like I was standing in front of her, and I had given her money at the other Urzuli store. And then when I was in front of her, oh, I started crying too. That's right. I remember I started crying when I was in there. I was overcome with just this sense of not sadness, not fear. Maybe it was overcome with a sense of love. It could have been. I have crazy New Orleans stories, like crazy. Um, so I'll tell those too. We've got a little bit of time. Okay, so um, so that was my first New Orleans where I went there. I got possessed. Okay, so when the energy left, my guides came in, and one of the things they said to me was that my connection is an angelic connection, and that actually doing earth based type magic I was not supposed to do at that time, right? And so I was like, whoa. And that's actually the second time I heard that. I was told that years ago when I lived in Atlanta. There was a book that one of my friends had, and it was like you put in your different information, and it would tell you what spiritual practices you should be working on and what spiritual practices you shouldn't be working on. So it was like from a certain amount of time to a certain amount of years, actually, I was not supposed to be doing any kind of witchcraft or anything like that. And I still did it for a little while, and then I stopped, right? But yeah, they were like, you should not be doing earth-based magic. You should be doing angelic magic. You should be, not even, they didn't even say magic, they just said angelic energies. My angelic connections are very strong. And so then I definitely took that to heart at that point, because then I was older, right? Again, it was like 5, 6 years ago. So I had more understanding of what I was mixing and mingling with. And so I definitely was already attuned to Reiki. And so I just continued to do my Reiki work. And then I would say just about 2 years ago, I started doing earth based magic again. Um, Once I went through the next level of my initiation, I guess you would say. So yeah. So the first time I went to New Orleans, got possessed. Not the first time. I mean, the first time I got possessed in New Orleans, and then I went back in 2017 with my mom, and I come from a Masonic family, and that is a whole nother video. Um, so both my grandparents and my grandmother went as high as you could go within the Masonic order. Um, and so they have a lot of like Masonic memorabilia, right? So I had my grandfather's Masonic ring, and I had started wearing it, and I had left it in the hotel. My mom was in the hotel, and I went to the quarter, and that was when I thought I saw a spirit. These stories are so crazy. Oh my god! I had went down to the quarter, and again, I felt like I was going through a portal. I felt like I definitely was going through a gateway, and I saw this man come out of a museum, but he didn't feel to be dressed. He didn't feel to look like he was from this time, and I had never had this experience before or since. And he came out of the museum, and I was sitting like outside of something, I don't know, some little store or something. And he came out and he sat down, and I was like, that man is a spirit. That man surely is a spirit. And he sat there and he looked at me. I looked at him. He looked at me. I looked at him. He looked at me. I looked at him. And he got up and he went on his way. I go back to the hotel. My grandfather's ring is gone. It's like a national incident. Hotel security it's like cameras, everything, lights, camera, action, like going back and forth with the hotel to try to get my grandfather's ring, to find out who came in and stole it. My mother was literally only gone from the room for like, she went downstairs to smoke a cigarette, came back, my grandfather's ring was gone. Okay, so I get possessed, my grandfather's ring gets stolen, and then I went back again. Something else got stolen. I can't remember what it was. And then I went back and 20, because for work, so I travel a lot for work, so I was going back and forth for work. So I went back, and by then I had a babalao, and he took me for a swim in Lake Pontchartrain. All right, so he takes me to this secret place. He's like, I want to take you to this secret place. This is where I do all my ritual, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yes, the Babala was like taking me somewhere. Oh my God. Like, yes, right? So we meet, we go. Well, he didn't tell me where we were going. He just told me we were going to a secret place, his place he's been going to since a kid. So he takes me. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's serene. Nobody's there. It's amazing. So he gets in the water. And he's like, come in. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming in. Like, I don't have a bathing suit. He's like, don't worry about it. Come in the water. You know what I did. I go in the water. And we're swimming. And he's like, yes, you're swimming with those shoes. I'm like, yes, I'm swimming with those shoes. I'm floating. Blah, blah, blah. We have a delicious time. I go back to where my friend that I'm staying with, and she's like, you're all wet. I'm like, yes, I got in the water. Da, da, da. I didn't even know what lake it was. I had no idea. So I tell her, and she's like, that sounds like Lake Pontchartrain. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I went swimming in Lake Pontchartrain. And she was like, you are a G for real. And even him, when I got in the water, he was like, you're a G. He was like, I didn't know you was like this. He was like, but you're a GG. And I was like, yeah, I just do stuff. I'm not scared. She's like, that lake, I didn't know that lake was back open to the public. Excuse me? That lake was closed after Katrina. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. I was, the lake was closed after Katrina. Fine, fine. The next day, I'm on the plane. Two lovely older white ladies. So, what did you do? Oh, I'm here for work and blah, blah, blah. And I did this and I did that. And yesterday I went swimming in Lake Pontchartrain. They were like, what? You went swimming in Lake Pontchartrain? I was like, yes, my friend took me. It was lovely. They were like, I heard there was flesh eating bacteria in that water. Excuse me? Did you say flesh eating bacteria in the water? So then they sense my concern because here I have gone now into another gateway, right? I've gone through another gateway. So they sense my concern. So then they were like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I think they cleaned it up by now. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. By the time my plane landed at JFK, I had little welts on my arm. I looked, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to worry about it. By the time I got in my car to drive home from the airport, like I'm telling, when the plane landed, little welts. By the time I got to my car, more welts. By the time I got home, welts on my chest and on my arms. I'm still like, okay, I guess it's gonna be all right. By the next morning, welts coming up my legs. And I'm like, at least it's not on my face. So I text the Baba, and I'm like, hey, I'm having some kind of breakouts or something. Do you know what it is? It's like all over my body. Here you go. It could be mosquitoes. It could be fish. It could be bugs. I mean, we were in the lake. It could be anything. Then it's like, duh. He's been swimming in that water since he's a little kid. His father used to take him fishing. He fine. He got all kinds of immune, everything. I'm like, so then he says, because he's amazing, get some raw shea butter, pray to Orisha Obaluwaye. She is the Orisha of sickness and skin. I said, all right. I have already put some cortisone and stuff like that. I said, well, the Baba said to do it. I'm gonna do it. Like it can't get any worse. Obaluwaye, please, clean me off. Blah, 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 blah. Next morning, woke up, it was gone. But Baba, thank you. Everything is gone. Blah blah blah. I feel fine. He was like, yeah, you've you've been accepted. The city has accepted you. Like you've gone to the next level. And I was like, oh my God. And so now I've been back to New Orleans. Nothing has been stolen. Nothing has been lost. I have not gotten possessed. Like, I just had to go through the gateway. So I say all that to say that initiation can be painful. Initiation is not always fun. It's not always cute, but it's always exciting. So wherever you are on your journey, just know that there are people there that will help you come on through the gateway, come on through the portal, and that's it. That's all I got. I'll see you soon. Bye.